Greetings gamers, FiOth here, and in this guide I'm gonna show you how easily to defeat the Reborn Dragon Emperor in Wuchang. First order of business, use an autumn feather and make sure that your temper agrees with your weapon. Here I'm using the Flamebringer with fire temper, which is a pretty powerful one. I'm not sure it's my favorite to attempt this boss. My feathering build made short work of him in New Game Plus, you can find it right here. But in this guide, we're gonna take him down nonetheless. In phase 1, he is a beast enemy who pounces around a lot, and because of that it's pretty predictable. This slam attack that he does and destroys the ground will usually be followed up by another attack that is a shockwave that deals tremendous damage if it catches you. Avoid at all costs. The Dracolic's pendant is magnificent in this fight because it allows you to ignore his screams, and that means that when he screams you can position yourself behind him and just hammer at him whilst he's trying to stagger you, since you are unstaggerable. Also note that if you dodge at the correct time the scream itself, you can avoid its effect altogether and just punish him. He will attack with the tail and can do substantial damage this way, but if you're ready for it, you can dodge it and there will be no issue whatsoever. If you're in mid to close range, as you just saw, his pounds will just overshoot you and land away from you, which is no big loss for you, but you have to close the distance fast and be ready for it if you want to capitalize on him being flat-footed. As you can see, he can be ignited and the ignition will deal substantial damage to him. The only problem is that the health pool is pretty big, so if you want to keep the damage on, you have to pressure him to go for the Obliterate, as you see here. Obliterate not only drops him to the ground, of course, as with all other enemies, but it allows you to unleash a combo and go for a secondary ignite like you see me doing here. All in all, phase 1 is nothing to write home about. He's a big, beastly enemy that you can just dodge around and punish whenever you find an opening. Make sure you have at least a couple of applications of your temper for the next phase, because the Dragon Emperor at his true form is a totally different beast, literally. Now let's go into phase 2. Phase 2 of this boss is the most mechanically interesting in the entire game. At the start he will just teleport way far away from you, and a friend of mine at some point messaged me and said, "Dude, why do you have to hunt this asshole down on the other side of the planet?" The thing is, you don't. He will use this teleportation moving away from you move a couple of times throughout the fight, and he will channel either this fire orb or icicles that he will send your way. If you are far away from him, as far away as possible, this explosion will never hurt you. Neither will the icicles if you just walk to the side. Then he will close the distance and the actual fight begins. It is very difficult to fight this boss with spells because the relic he's holding absorbs all magic, empowering his own moves, so you gotta go ham on him. He's still a gigantic thing and you can predict his moves pretty easily, but he has a couple of tricks up his sleeve that you'll have to be aware and ready for. Fire again works pretty well, as you can see he's already ignited and burning, but at some point, after you damage him enough, he will use this relic of his to create a life-absorbing field around him that will suck your own life force. You can see it right here. There's two ways you can go about this. You can go in for extreme damage and attempt to break his posture, or let's say stance, because the terminology in this game is weird when compared to other games of this ilk, or you can just move away. Either way, he will recover some health. He will recover more health and heal more aggressively if you are there for him to leech your energy. But if you manage to break his stance, you will have a pretty huge opening to smack his face in. Apart from this life steal ability, there isn't much to write home about. He doesn't have the biggest health pool. It is a two-phase boss, as in a twin boss, because it's two separate life bars. But he's predictable, he's pretty huge. He can't really one-shot you with anything other than this life-stealing force field. As you can see here, he recovered pretty much 20% of his health, and if you pace yourself, you will have no issues whatsoever. Here's the second teleportation I was talking to you about. This time it will be icicles, and this is 99% avoidable just by running to the side or even by walking. The distance is so huge, you can see them coming from a mile away. You have to be either a bit out of it or not paying attention whatsoever to be hit. This attack is a non-entity, and if he fires a force wave from his sword, it will take it so long to reach you that you can dodge it without any issues, and the damage is minuscule. As soon as he's close, it's the same thing as always. Go ham on his ass and just avoid these telegraphed slow ass swings. Be ready for the life siphon. Except for the life siphon, this guy does not stand a chance. He's a very manageable boss, and the fact that he's so susceptible to fire means that if you keep up the pressure, you're building both his stagger and his stick damage. It's not as easy to break his stance as other bosses, but still, if you know what you're doing, he'll go down without much fuss. If you need any more help with Wuchang, subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell. I'm covering everything in the game. Until next time, be well, stay frosty, and always try for perfection. Cheers!